Welcome back at Global Freedom Solutions. In our last video, we talked about the best banks and credit cards in Dubai. And in today's video, I want to show you the mistakes you should avoid when banking in Dubai so that you don't get into any trouble. And if you haven't watched the video about the best banks and credit cards in Dubai yet, you can click on this link here and watch the video. So, banking in Dubai and UAE, both personal and business. There are many people out there who say just walk into a bank and you open a bank account in 5 minutes and Dubai banking is amazing and you can cash out a bunch of crypto to your banks in Dubai, and that is not true at all. I have already seen it with many clients. In extreme cases, it has taken 2 to 3 months to open a private account. Opening business accounts sometimes took up to 1 year. It's a lot easier now, but you have to be very, very careful. So what I can personally recommend is to open an account with Vio for both personal and business banking. We already talked about Vio in the last video, and Vio is backed by First Abu Dhabi Bank, which is essentially the largest bank in the UAE. And Vio is not a bank with branches in Dubai and the UAE. It is a fully digital bank regulated by the central bank in the UAE. And you can use it for personal banking very easily. You can open the account as soon as you have the Emirates ID. In some cases, you can also open an account with banks as a non-resident, but then you often have to pay high deposits, and the compliance regulations are higher for non-resident accounts, so the effort for the bank is just higher. The most common way for our clients to become residents of Dubai is by establishing a company in Dubai and obtaining their visa and Emirates ID, or by purchasing a property. Now, if you open a free zone company or mainland company and you want a business account to receive money from your customers, then Vio is also the easiest solution in my opinion. Sometimes the account is opened in 2 to 3 days. You don't have to wait months for this to happen. I don't want to make any more recommendations about which banks I think are good. We have already done that in the last video. We'll now focus more on the mistakes you should definitely avoid when banking in Dubai and the UAE. So the first thing I would like to mention here is that once your account has been opened for the company, you should be in Dubai. Either the card will be sent to the company's address, which in this case is a free zone or mainland address, or sometimes you can have it sent directly to your home. The card will then be delivered by the courier and you should be at home to receive the card. The courier will then ask for your Emirates ID and verify the ID on a card reader. And now let's move on to the mistakes you should definitely avoid when banking in Dubai and the UAE. The first point is that you should have a rental agreement for both personal and business banking. In Dubai, it's called a jari. And with free zone setups, a unit lease agreement is usually included when the company is established. This is a virtual office, so you have an address, but you actually can't use it. And then it can happen that some banks or bank branches do not accept this, especially if you are new to Dubai and try to do everything yourself. You may face this problem. And if you decide to work with an agency that will set up the company for you, take care of the visa and banking, just talk to them about it. And many providers often promise to open a bank account for you, but then fail. And my advice to you, ask whether it is possible to include in the invoice or contract with your provider that you will receive a refund if the bank account opening fails. And believe me, I've seen clients report such experience so often. What facilitates the opening of a bank account with free zone companies is if you book additional physical office space, and the costs for this are also manageable. But I can tell you that this is usually not necessary if you work with a good provider. Now let's continue with the bank account opening process. So the banks in Dubai and the UAE are very strict when it comes to the compliance. And this is mainly due to the fact that UAE was on the gray list from which it was removed in 2024. And this is also the reason why it is sometimes difficult to open a bank account. The banks simply have to check everything more closely. When setting up a company, for example, make sure that your company's license actually covers the activity that you want to carry out with the company later on. And when you look at other countries, it often feels like you can do anything with your company, but in Dubai, you have to define one or more activities for the company before you set it up. And I can tell you from experience with clients who had already set up their companies, mistakes are often made during this step. If you want to change the company's activities afterwards, you often pay high fees for this, which you can save yourself if you take some time for this step. So definitely be sure to mention this point to your provider and ask them whether they are aware of it. It is also the case that bank accounts are often more difficult to open for activities that are broader in scope. For example, a bank account for general trading is more difficult to open than for spare parts trading, for example. And this is because you can basically trade anything you want with this activity, so with general trading, and this makes the business and the transactions less transparent for the bank, ergo more risk for the bank. And banks in the UAE pay very high fines if money laundering cases are uncovered. So essentially you can expect a lot of questions from the bank with this activity. The next mistake you should avoid in any case is providing incorrect and insufficient information in the bank's KYC process, so the know your customer process. So you shouldn't say you are consulting and then later send tons of crypto money to your bank account instead. Then you will get an invitation to the bank branch very, very quickly and you will be asked a lot of questions, especially if you are new to Dubai. If we are talking about the private account, you need to build up a history. If you want to cash out crypto, increase the frequency and amount of cash out slowly. And if questions come from the bank, have all the supporting documents ready. And during the KYC process, be able to provide contracts from clients, invoices, and similar supporting documents so that the bank has an understanding of what your business model actually looks like. Also, be aware that you cannot receive funds from sanctioned countries. If you do, your account will be frozen very, very quickly. Another mistake that can't really be called a mistake if other banks have rejected you is choosing the right bank. And basically, we can recommend FAB, ADCB and Emirates NBD in particular. We have mentioned these banks in the previous video also. And with other banks, you sometimes have dashboards that look like Windows 95 and the service is also significantly worse. So those were the most common mistakes when banking in Dubai and the UAE. If you are currently considering setting up a company in Dubai or are having problems with bank account opening, please click on the first link in the description and get in touch with us. With this said, I hope you enjoyed the video. Leave it a thumbs up, subscribe to our channel. See you in the next one. Bye.